Okay, after yesterday, how are you doing? How you doing with those verb definitions for our AR present tense regular verbs? Hopefully you got the Quizlet done. If you have not showed those to the substitute yet for a completion grade, go ahead and pause this video and do that. If it's just one of you or two of you have come in late to class, go and make sure to show the substitute your completed Quizlet of those AR verbs with their definitions before you leave class. I want to thank you guys and thank you for specifically being flexible as we go through this lesson. I'm hoping that this week will not be null and void in your learning, but it'll just be a week that we can kind of work through me not being there and you can still learn. I appreciate the substitutes for really filling in and doing a good job trying to make sure that the time is educational for you. And thank you to you guys for just making sure that you are still being diligent and focused and trying to learn. So appreciate that on everybody's side. Quick review from yesterday. Make sure that you are not forgetting how boxes connect. Top left to top left, top right to top right, bottom right to bottom right, bottom left to bottom left. All the boxes connect. With that being said, let's just breeze through the stuff from yesterday. Once again, as a review, we said that the subject and the verb do what? So yesterday we made a statement. The subject and the verb of every sentence in Spanish does something. In your table groups, review that. What does the subject and the verb do together? If you need to, go ahead, look back in your notes, and pause the video. Okay, hopefully you just said the subject and the verb in a Spanish sentence connect to one another. In fact, the subject ends up changing the verb. So subject and the verb are joined together in Spanish sentences. So once again, you see this verb down here. You still have the subject, yes, but the verb has changed from its original form, caminar, to be camina. So the subject, John, or Juan in this case, has changed the verb. So the subject and the verb have joined together. So it says camina. Fun fact, in Spanish, I actually don't even need Juan here. I could just say camina al mercado, which would mean he walks to the market or to the store. Problem with that, though, is that camina is the L.A. usted form, so it could also mean she walks to the store or you formal walk to the store. So that's why we just are telling you, they make sure to put the subject in the sentence still so that we know specifically who are you talking about. Are you talking about he? Are you talking about she? Are you talking about John? Are you talking about Raquel? Who are you talking about? Okay. With that being said, in your table groups now, go back to your notes, review what is a verb called in Spanish when it has the AR still attached to it. What is a verb called that still has the AR attached to it? Like all the verbs you typed out in your Quizlet. What are those called in your table groups? Discuss and go ahead and pause this video. Okay, hopefully you said it is known as an infinitive verb. So a verb that is infinitive is a verb that does not have a subject to it yet. And remember, there are three types of infinitive verbs. Ones that end in AR, ER, or IR. This week, all we're doing is the AR verbs, and we're taking that and we are going to drop that off from the verb, from the infinitive verb, and we're going to change it with the appropriate subject and the appropriate new verb endings. So let's take a look at that again. Remember, if we have these three verb forms, acabar, terminar, buscar, the verb endings are the ARs, and so we drop them off. We drop them like they're hot. That's the kind of the phrase I want you to think about, is drop it like it's hot, is what we're going to do to those verb endings, which is the ARs for this week. Now, don't forget those verb endings connect back to our Spanish pronoun boxes, and those AR verb endings, once we've dropped them, we don't just leave it dropped off. Yes, we drop it off, but we change it to something new. And then what we change it to is o, as, a, amos, ais, on. So go ahead and say those after me. These will be on your quiz on Friday, these verb endings. You do need to know which pronouns they connect to. So remember, the o goes back to yo, As goes back to to. A goes back to la usted. So here we go. Repeat these verb endings after me. O, as, a, amos, ais, on. Good. Now let's say them really quick together. Sometimes it helps to get a rhythm and a beat together. Not a beat, but a rhythm as you say this. So let's say these fast together. O, as, a, amos, ais, on. Good. O, as, a, amos, ais, on. Go ahead and say that real quick to each other at the table group. Good. Okay. So those verb endings, remember, are taken then to our verb acabar. We drop the AR off of it. We add our new verb endings, o, as, a, amos, ais, on, to make it be acabo, acabas, acaba, acabamos, acabais, acaban. Okay, and that is what you are going to do now with all of those verbs you highlighted in your verb packet yesterday. So turn to your yellow verb packets and let's go through what exactly you're going to do today. If you still need more time, go and pause the video. As we move forward, though, what I do want you to think about is, actually not think about, but actually do in your verb packet, is to take your pencil. Yes, I do want it to be a pencil. If you don't have one, borrow one from somebody. Now, what I want you to do, for each of the verbs that you highlighted, only the ones you highlighted. No more. If you do them on any others, you're going to mess things up. So only on the ones that you highlighted, go ahead and box the stem or the root of each verb. Now remember, the stem or the root of each verb is everything in that except for the AR. Everything except for the AR is going to receive a box. So acab, termine, and cant is what you're going to box. So go ahead and do that for all of your verbs that you highlighted yesterday. Go ahead and pause the video. Now that you've boxed all the stems or the root, now go back through that same selection of verbs, all the highlighted ones from yesterday, and now underline the verb ending. And remember, that verb ending that you just underlined, that is what you are going to drop off. So that AR is going to be what drops off. If you want to put an X through it, go ahead and avoid doing that because we do need to be able to see still in your notebook what that is. But just remember, whatever gets underlined now is going to get dropped eventually. So go ahead and pause the video and underline each verb ending on all those verbs. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, kick in the pants. It is only AR that you should be underlining for all these verbs. Okay, now that you've done that, let's take a look. See if you did this correct now. Okay, we're going to go to acabar. Maybe you already filled this out from your notes yesterday. What you boxed was acab. That was one of our examples. So hopefully everybody got that one right. You boxed acab, so A-C-A-B. What I want you to do now, go to your 6 boxes if you haven't done this one already, and write acab in each of the 6 boxes. So acab, 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 acab. Now that is your stem or your root. That will not change, period. Acab is in all 6 of those boxes. Now go back to what you underlined. It's the AR. Our verb endings, if it's an AR verb, are, remember this, o, as, a, amos, ais, on. O, as, a, amos, ais, on. Remember that, or write it in somewhere in your notes so you can reference this. Now you're going to take those o, as, a, and notice that's what we've done. We've attached those o, as, a, amos, ais, on to acab. And now that's all we've done with the verb. That's all you got to do. You are done with acabar. So all you've done is taken the stem or the root of the verb, acab, and put the new verb endings on, o, as, a, amos, ais, on, to get your correctly conjugated verb. So acabo is I finish or I end. Acabas, you finish, you end. Acaba, acabamos, acabais, acaban. So on and so forth. They connect back to our pronouns. Okay. What I want you to do, go to your next verb in your notebook that we have highlighted. Okay, what I want you to do, go and try that. Take the underlined stem or the root and go ahead and put that in each of the 6 boxes, and then take your new verb endings you dropped off the AR and put those in and see what you come up with. We'll see if it matches our next slide. So go ahead and pause the video and give that second verb that you have highlighted from yesterday a go. Okay, is this what you ended up with? Ayudar, meaning to help or to aid. You have ayud underlined, so you put ayud in each of these boxes. And then drop the AR, drop it like it's hot, drop the AR, drop it like it's hot, and then add the new verb endings. O, as, a, amos, ais, on. Don't forget your accent. Did you put your accent in there on the vosotros form? If you didn't, it's half off on that quiz on Friday, so make sure you've done that. So what will your quiz on Friday look like? Well, first of all, it's going to look like it will incorporate the following, I should say, is that you will have to know the definitions for ayudar, so to help or to aid, and for all the other verbs you highlighted. And then you'll have to correctly conjugate in 6 boxes in the correct order as well, the verb conjugations of that verb. So simply put, I would have a line to the right of ayudar, and you'd write to help on it, or to aid, and then I'd have an empty set of 6 boxes here on the quiz, and you have to conjugate this verb correctly by putting ayudo, ayudas, ayuda, ayudamos, ayudais, ayudan. Okay, that's all you're doing on the quiz on Friday. Pretty easy stuff if you remember the basics. Remember, underline the or box the stem or the root, underline the verb ending, drop the verb ending like it's hot, and add your new verb endings of o, as, a, amos, ais, on. Okay, what I want you to do, take your verb packet, finish it up. As far as all the highlighted verbs that you have done, don't do anything else other than the highlighted verbs from yesterday. If you weren't here yesterday, well, I wasn't either, so welcome to the club. But go ahead, borrow some of his notes, highlight those verbs, and complete those verbs like we have just talked about and shown you with acabar and ayudar. So you're going to do a bailar, buscar, cambiar, caminar, cantar, cenar, dibujar, escuchar, estudiar, ganar, hablar, llamar, manejar, mirar, nadar, pagar, practicar, trabajar, and that is it. Not too bad.